last year, the Aces' young and inexperienced team, with the help of some untimely injuries, lost to William Tennant in the first round of the district playoffs. It was a very tough way to end the season. This year, with 12 of those players returning, LM hoped that a year's experience and higher expectations would make them go further. The defense would have to be rebuilt with only one starter back, but the midfield was solid and the attack explosive. Now it was time to put it all together. '92 co-captains of the Lower Merion varsity soccer team, seniors Will Kohler and Bill Ferber. Will, we'll start with you. How does your role on the team this year differ from that of last year?
Well, I think on last year's team, I wasn't as much a leader as I have to be this year. I mean, aside from being the captain, I wasn't a senior last year. People didn't look up to me to take the leadership role. I was more or less called upon to do a lot of the scoring and the passing, you know, because I was at the center midfield position. But this year, I'm playing striker, and I'm still called upon to do the scoring and the assisting, but I also need to be a better leader on the field than I was last year.
What do you think we've accomplished in our 2.5 weeks of preseason?
Well, I think the emphasis has been on fitness, and I think we're very fit, judging from our first couple scrimmages. That's one good thing we can look from them. I also think that we have good team unity right now. I mean, we're basically playing together as a team. I mean, at sometimes we're getting aside from that, but in general, I think we have a good team concept right now, and we're really fit, so now we can build on that.
Bill, do you see any particular strength emerging as this team begins to develop?
I'd say definitely thus far our team's strength has to be the offense. They've scored many goals in the first few games, in the first few scrimmages, and thus far our defense has been a little shaky, but as soon as we shore up the defense, we're going to have a great season.
We begin our season with Upper Merion the day after tomorrow. How do we stand?
Well, thus far, as I've already said, our offense has been doing great, and our defense is really going to come together. We had a rough scrimmage the other day, and I think our team's going to rally and do really well in the first game this Friday. And as far as the league goes, I think we're pretty much a sleeper, so we're going to sneak in there and get some key wins.
It was finally time for the season to begin, as the captains took the coin toss. Was the offense going to continue its goal-scoring barrage, and was the defense ready to hold the line and settle down? With the opening tap at hand, we were about to find out. Just 4 minutes into the game, some miscommunication by the Aces defense cost them a goal. Sophomore Jeff Nixon converted, and the Vikings had an early lead. Six minutes later, LM tied it up. Will Kohler took a long Jeremy Gelber punt, found Josh Lowenthal streaking to the far post, and the game was tied.
All right, Will. Come on, Will. Come on, Will. Get one off. Yeah.
Again, the Vikings went on top when Demetrius Cyprus beat two Aces defenders and found the back of the net. And with 4 minutes left in the first period, it was 2-1 Upper Merion.
Billy! Watch him, Will!
Just a minute and a half later, LM tied it again. This time it was John Hanks on the receiving end of a Kohler slot pass, and it looked like it was going to be a long afternoon for both defensive units. Seven minutes into the second period, the Aces took their first lead. When Kevin Burns' shot hit the post, Josh Lowenthal alertly chipped the ball into the middle, and Kohler headed it home. Just a minute later, Kohler got his second goal when he again took a long Gelber punt, beat several Viking defenders, and scored a pretty goal to give LM a 4-2 advantage.
Go, Will! Oh, Will, get inside. How about that?
Midway through the third, the Aces got a lucky bounce. A Kohler cross hit the head of a Viking defender and went into the net for what seemed to be a comfortable 3-goal LM lead.
7-5.
However, Upper Merion made it 5-3 minutes later on a nice head goal off a corner kick, and then got it to 5-4 early in the fourth when Kurt Bridge headed in another corner kick.
Oh, my God. Let's play that soon.
LM goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber made a nice save off a free kick to keep the 1-goal lead. And then midway through the fourth, Kohler iced the game with his fourth goal of the afternoon to give the Aces a 6-4 opening day victory. When the defense walked onto the field against Malvern the following Wednesday, they had to be wondering if they could get it together. There was plenty of incentive as the Friars upset the Aces 3-2 last year, and many of those Aces players were anxious to even the score. The first scoring chance belonged to LM. With just 5 minutes gone, Ben Cooper's header off a Will Kohler cross was saved. With the Aces pressing from the start, it was just a matter of time. Midway through the first, Will Kohler took a long ball from John Hanks and beat the Friar back and their keeper to put LM out in front.
You have it. Okay, beautiful. Woo!
9 minutes into the second, with the Aces still in command, John Hanks doubled the advantage. He took a Kohler cross and blasted a header from 12 yards out into the upper left-hand corner. Still in the first half, sophomore Nate Laver pounced on a rebound and volleyed home a 10-yarder to make the lead 3-0.
I came in.
One of the few Malvern chances came midway through the second half when they hit the post from a melee in front, but the ball was cleared. The offense had kept scoring and the defense recorded a shutout as the Aces went to 2-0 with this 3-0 victory. Next on the schedule would be Westchester East, a team that on a given day could beat the best or lose to the worst. Early in the game, a mix-up in front of the LM net off a corner kick almost gives East an early lead. 6 minutes later, it was East again, this time on a breakaway. But the shot gets pushed wide, and the Aces dodge another bullet. After thoroughly being outplayed in the first period, LM got a shot in the arm when Will Kohler scored off the opening second period tap.
Wow. Congratulations.
7 minutes later, the lead was doubled. Kevin Burns slides a pass to Kohler, and his 50-yard run ends with a beautiful goal. With 5 minutes left in the first half, a heads-up quick free kick from Kohler to Hanks give LM their third unanswered goal and a 3-0 halftime lead. However, just 3 minutes into the third, East finally broke the ice with a nice head goal off a corner kick. It was almost 3-2, but a great kick save by Jeremy Gelber kept East from pulling within one late in the third quarter.
Brothers and everything else. Nice shot.
Midway through the fourth, Kohler iced it up with his third goal of the game when he ripped an 18-yarder into the lower right-hand corner. With this 4-1 win, the Aces record stood at 3-0, with Penn Charter coming up the next morning. With less than 24 hours rest and without the services of co-captain Will Kohler, the Aces traveled to Penn Charter. In a sluggish first half, the best chance the Aces could muster was a John Hanks shot off a nice through ball from Josh Lowenthal. The Charter keeper made the save, and the ball was cleared. It was obvious that LM was a little overconfident, and they just couldn't find that spark to get them on the board. Midway through the second half, Ben Cooper rips a volley, but it goes right to the keeper. Minutes later, Bill Ferber hits the far post, and Razak Bauman's header is tipped over the crossbar. It didn't look like the Aces' day.
Nice, AJ. Come on, Billy.
Later on in the half, an Aces free kick hits the post, and the scramble in front is finally cleared. The Aces finally got their ball control game back online, but they just couldn't score. Despite outshooting Charter 23-2, the game ended in a scoreless tie. It was a hard pill to swallow, but if lessons were learned, it would pay off somewhere down the road. The next day I talked with 4 players who were experiencing their first year at the varsity level.
Try, John.
Last year, the Aces varsity soccer team had 15 new players. This year, there's only a handful. Today, we're going to talk with a senior and 3 sophomores. Scott, having gone through Lower Merion soccer program, from freshman through JV and now varsity, what new challenges does this level of play hold for you?
Well, obviously, quality of play is increased, and I have to be more physical and be more intense.
How do you want to end your soccer career at Lower Merion?
Obviously, I'd like to end it on a successful note, get maybe a couple championships in there.
Okay, Razak, you're one of 3 sophomores who are new to the team this year. Playing at the forward position, what do you have to do to contribute?
Well, I really have to support my team and I have to start putting the ball in the net.
Is there more to the mental side of the game at this level that will take some getting used to?
Well, before it used to be baby soccer. Now I'm playing with bigger guys. You have to really start thinking about how you're going to play and what you're going to do.
Nate, does being a sophomore on the varsity put more pressure on you, or does it take the pressure off?
No, I don't think it really puts any pressure on me more than any other team would. I just have to go out there and play the way I know I can and do what I know I can do.
Having already played 4 games, is there anything that you're still having trouble adjusting to?
Well, I think I just have to get used to the style of play we play here, and just as a team we have to work on playing with unity and being a team.
Merritt, defensive center mid's a very challenging position, especially for a sophomore. What do you need to do to play this position successfully?
Well, what I think I have to do is, well, in the past few games, I haven't been getting the ball as much as I really wanted to. And I guess I'm just going to have to call for the ball more and get the team routed up to play.
Our league starts tomorrow with Conestoga. As a team, do you think we're ready?
I think if we play like some of the practices that we do, I think we should have a good game and probably win.
Well, new players are a very important part of any team. It seems like you 4 have made the adjustment very well, and we're looking forward to a successful season. Good luck tomorrow against Conestoga. Before Conestoga, however, LM had to play neighborhood rival Haverford School, who always played the Aces tough on their field, and today would be nothing different. Midway through the first half, LM goalkeeper Jeremy Gelver makes a save in front of the net, and Rufus Fraser manages to clear the ball out of danger. The resulting corner kick leads to a head goal by Kevin Silva, and LM was in an early hole. The Fords continued to put on the pressure and almost scored again from a free kick about 8 minutes later. One of the few LM chances in the first half came when hustle by Josh Lowenthal forced a bad back pass that Will Kohler picked up and shot just high. Minutes later, a Seiji McCarthy long throw-in gets through to Rufus Fraser, but he misfires and the ball is finally cleared. 8 minutes into the second half, Silva doubled the Ford advantage, this time on a free kick, and things didn't look good.
Corner, Kev, left corner.
However, Will Kohler got the Aces on the board minutes later with a free kick goal of his own, and the momentum was starting to shift just a little bit. The Aces almost tied it up on a long free kick, but the ball is tipped over the bar.
I agree. Come on, Will. Oh my God!
Silva then iced the game for the Fords when he headed home a free kick with 17 minutes left, and LM had been handed their first loss of the season. LM was now ready to open the '92 Central League season, and their first opponent would be the Pioneers of Conestoga. Last year they embarrassed the Aces 3-0, and many of the players on that team were ready to even the score. The Aces applied pressure right away as Will Kohler went deep into the Conestoga end and would be a focal point of their defensive strategy. The Pioneers also had an early chance, coming off a long throw-in, but the ball hits the crossbar and is cleared. It was a great day for soccer, and a crowd of over 200 were enjoying the game. Conestoga got on the board first early in the second period when Brendan Shannon headed across into the left-hand corner, and it was 1-0 Pioneers.
Good ball. Good ball.
The Aces wasted little time in tying it up as Josh Lowenthal took a rebound of a John Hanks free kick and slid the ball into the lower left-hand corner. Off the tap, the Aces looked to take the lead as Will Kohler found Kevin Byrne in the slot, but his rip is saved by Pioneer goalkeeper Bill Engels. There was no more scoring in regulation, and it was into overtime. In the first 10-minute overtime, the Pioneers had a golden chance to take the lead, but shoot over the bar from just 8 yards out. LM pounced on this missed opportunity, and with just 30 seconds left, got the game winner. Seiji McCarthy sent a beautiful left-footed cross into the middle, where John Hanks volleyed it out of the air and past the Conestoga keeper. When it was all over, LM had an exciting 2-1 overtime win and would next go out of league with a game against a very powerful Episcopal team on Saturday. With Josh Lowenthal out of the lineup and several other players either sick or injured, the Aces had to dig deep against Interac rival Episcopal, who boasted one of their best teams in recent memory. If LM wanted to shut down the explosive Churchmen attack, they would have to pay close attention to number 14, TJ Corella. 4 minutes into the game, the attention wasn't close enough, as Corella headed home a corner kick to put the Aces in an early hole. It happened so quick that even the video person couldn't follow it. 7 minutes later, on a brilliantly diagrammed free kick play, Will Kohler tied it up. After a nice feed from John Hanks, he beat the Episcopal keeper, and it was 1-1. LM on the whole wasn't real sharp, but Hanks and Kohler combined on a nice give and go, but John ran out of field before having a chance to take the shot. EA had a handful of opportunities, including this one midway through the second half, but the Aces escaped each time. With just 5 seconds left in the contest, the Aces almost stole the victory. Will Kohler sent a through ball to sophomore Merritt Lentz, and after he beat the sweeper, he went in alone on the Churchmen keeper. The shot was taken, but nicked the outside of the left post and went wide, and the teams had to settle for a 1-1 tie, the third tie in as many years. Next, LM would go back into the Central League and host the Tigers of Marple. Midway through the first period, Marple got one of their few scoring chances off a 20-yard free kick, but goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber comes up big.
Oh, look at that.
4 minutes later, John Hanks got the baseline, found Will Kohler in the slot, but his shot is saved by an alert defender standing just inside the far post. Still in the first period, a Kohler free kick hits the crossbar but bounces out. In the second, John Hanks makes a nice run to goal and rips a shot that is saved by the Tiger keeper. All the LM pressure finally paid off midway through the third, when Will Kohler made a run from midfield, found Josh Lowenthal at the far post, and the Aces had a 1-0 lead. The LM defense had things pretty well in hand, but 3 minutes into the final frame, stopper back Mark Walensky went down hard, and there was a great deal of concern as he had to be taken to the hospital by the paramedics. The Aces, now playing with a purpose, had 3 more golden opportunities to ice it up, but just couldn't connect. First it was Ben Cooper from in close, then Will Kohler on a pass from Seiji McCarthy, and then again from John Hanks.
Go.
It made no difference as the game ended 1-0 Aces, but LM had paid a price, losing their starting stopper back with a severe back sprain. After the game, I spoke with 3 of the Aces' offensive stars. I'm here with 3 of our offensive weapons, Josh Lowenthal, Dave Barca, and John Hanks. Josh, it looked like our offense was unstoppable early on, scoring 13 goals in our first 3 games. But in the last 5, we only scored 5 goals. What's your assessment?
Well, we've had a lot of injuries up till now, and when we get healed up and all, we shouldn't have a problem scoring goals.
You've scored 2 big goals for us in our first 2 Central League games. How is it working with Will, John, Dave, and Razak up front?
Well, the 5 of us all have high work rates, and we're just able to take over the game when we feel like it, and we shouldn't have a problem scoring any goals.
Dave, our offense has the capability to score a lot of goals. What do you think's the key for this to happen?
I think the key is to have a lot of high work rate, and we need a lot of confidence and not to be afraid to shoot.
Do you think this year's offense is better than last year's?
Yeah, I really think that this year's offense is much better than last year's. You just have to look at our record from this year's to last year's.
John, you're one of the most active players on the field, playing out of the center midfield position. You have to carry the ball, distribute, score, and play defense. Are you happy with your play in all these areas thus far?
So far, I've been pretty happy with the way I've played. I've been pretty successful giving the ball to Will and Josh up front, and hopefully in the future, I'll just do a little bit better.
We've gotten off to a good start in the Central League, winning both our games. How do we look tomorrow against Pencrest?
I think we look really good tomorrow against Pencrest. Heard Pencrest has some really good athletes, but if we just work hard and pass the ball and distribute it real well, I think we can be successful.
If you can't score, you can't win. It's as simple as that. This year's team is one of the most explosive scoring machines in LM history. Let's meet the players that make it happen. Senior co-captain Will Kohler led the team in scoring this season with 26 goals and 18 assists. He was chosen as the best player in the league for the 2nd year in a row and helped this unit to be one of the most explosive
in recent years. Sophomore John Hanks was the workhorse in the middle of the offense and collected 13 goals and 11 assists. He could be a powerful offensive threat as well as control the middle of the field and play very solid defense. He could very well be one of the best players in the league next year. Josh Lowenthal gave our opponents fits with his speed and his high work rate. He scored several key Central League goals for us in the first part of the season, and as his ball control continues to develop, he could be an All-Central League prospect. Barca chipped in 6 goals and 2 assists of his own. He never gave anything less than his best, and his hustle and determination always managed to give the team a boost. Razak Bauman, despite being played with injuries a good part of the season, was also a threat in the offensive third. His powerful shot and good ball skills make him a player to be reckoned with in the coming years. After scoring 13 goals in the first 3 games and only 5 in the last 5, the Aces had to get back into the scoring mode if they were to keep pace in the Central League race. Playing without starters Mark Walensky, Seiji McCarthy, Heath Alva, and Ben Cooper, they next faced off against Pencrest. LM needed a fast start desperately and got it 3 minutes into the game when Josh Lowenthal scored off a nice feed from John Hanks. Will Kohler doubled the advantage 6 minutes later when he took a pass from Razak Bauman and ripped a low liner into the corner.
Nice. Turn, Will, turn. Will. Yeah.
In the second period, it was Bauman to Kohler again, and the Aces were breathing easy for a change.
All-star Kohler. Hits the goal. Look at that.
With 1 minute left in the half, Josh Lowenthal scored on a picture-perfect header off a Kohler cross, and the rout was on.
Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty.
In the third, it was John Hanks' turn. He took a beautiful through ball from Josh Lowenthal and ripped home the Aces' 5th goal of the game.
Oh, what a run.
Go, Josh, all the way. Take him. Oh, John.
Yeah. Oh, what a lovely goal from John Hanks.
The Lions came back strong, scoring 2 goals in the next 5 minutes. The first came right off the tap as the left side of the Aces defense got caught napping. 2 minutes later, they scored off a cross, and instead of a 5-0 rout, it was now 5-2, and Pencrest was pumped up.
I swear to God, I hit him like that. Jeremy.
Will Kohler deflated the Lions' balloon at the end of the third period when he took a Bill Ferber pass and got his third goal of the game.
Oh, nice ball. Oh, the goalie. Billy Ferber, that's a great.
Kevin Byrne got on the board when his long cross found its way into the net midway through the fourth period.
Oh,
nice ball.
Razak Bauman rounded out the scoring when he hit a nice left footer into the upper left corner off a feed from Dave Barca, and LM came away with an explosive 8-2 victory. This would put them at 3-0 in the league and set up a showdown with Radnor, the only other undefeated team in the Central League.
you scored. Yes, Razak. Oh, yes. Who scored two? Bauman.
Highly touted Radnor was next on the league schedule, and with both teams undefeated in league play, this was a big one. LM was on their game from the beginning, and with just a few minutes gone, John Hanks carries into the Raider end, finds Bill Ferber for a shot, and it's saved by the Raider keeper. Despite carrying the play for the first 14 minutes, it was Radnor getting the first score. Forward Javier Nogales made a nice run to goal and finds the corner. This fired up the Raiders, and 4 minutes later, Jeremy Gelber had to make a big save off a Radnor free kick. With the magnitude of the game, tempers were on edge, and a few yellow cards were issued to calm things down. 2 minutes into the second period, the Aces tied it up. Josh Lowenthal took a long ball, and with the goalie caught out of the net, just got it across the line before he recovered. Five and a half minutes later, Rufus Fraser made a great headman pass to Will Kohler, who finished it off to give LM a 2-1 margin. This wasn't to last very long, as less than a minute later, Radnor's Nogales got his second goal of the game, again beating an Aces defender and finding the corner of the net. Late in the second period, Ian Cecchio executed a nice give and go and gave Radnor a 3-2 lead when he put the ball nicely into the bottom left-hand corner. One minute into the third period, Seiji McCarthy tied it up again when his 35-yard blast bounced over goalie Keith McIlvain's head.
Yeah.
Early in the fourth, with both teams pushed to the limit, LM's Will Kohler got the game winner. John Hanks put a long through ball just past the marking of Chris Preheim, and Will looped the ball just under the crossbar for the Aces' fourth goal. With this victory, LM was alone in first place at 4-0, and their record improved to 7-1-2. With that big Radnor win still lingering, the Aces had to regroup for their annual game with sister school Harriton. The Rams never have beaten LM, and it was always their biggest game of the year. The Aces began by moving the ball well on offense, and midway through the first period, opened the scoring. Will Kohler made a nice 30-yard run, found John Hanks in front, and it was 1-0. In the second period, LM doubled their lead as Seiji McCarthy's long throw-in went to Kohler and his shot beat Ram goaltender Jason Ratner. It was 2-0, and LM was in total command, but you had to wonder if all the missed scoring chances to ice the game away would come back and haunt them. Six minutes into the final period, things started to change. Ram standout Richard Wilmot, who had been held to one shot on goal thus far, broke free and was pulled down in the box. He converted the penalty kick, and it was 2-1. After this, the Aces lost their composure, and with only 5.5 minutes remaining, Mark Kirshner tied it up when he beat several Aces defenders and goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber, and the game ended 2-2. The next day, I interviewed several members of the Aces defense. I'm here with the backbone of the defense, goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber, sweeper Matt Halpern, stopper Mark Walensky, and marking back Seiji McCarthy. Jeremy, we're 7-1-3 so far with 3 shutouts, but we're giving up an average of 1.5 goals per game. How do you explain our defensive inconsistency?
I think that we tend to play down to the level of whatever team we're playing against, and like if it's not a real big game, we don't make it tight, and we don't really get up for the game, and that probably explains why our defense has been giving up like lousy goals and against bad teams.
Being really the only goalie on the varsity roster, do you find that the lack of competition hinders your progress?
I think it does sort of. There was a lot more competition last year, so it made me try to play better in practice, and this year the lack of competition sort of doesn't make me play as well as I have to in practice sometimes.
Matt, you've come back with a vengeance this year after last season's bout with bad knee problems. How do you like playing sweeper back?
Well, it was a bit of an adjustment at first because I haven't played sweeper in a while. But I'm starting to settle down, and I like it a lot more now that I'm playing better.
The defense so far has been a little up and down. What do you guys need to do to put the final pieces in place?
Well, I think our biggest problem has been poking at the ball. And if we settle down and contain the offense, we should be able to play consistently.
Mark, how much does a year's experience mean to your effectiveness as our #1 marking back?
I think that year's experience helped a lot. Great big deal. I feel a lot less pressure now, and the experience has helped me a lot. I've settled down a lot.
We've had a real sweet win against Radnor last Thursday. How satisfying was it to you seeing Radnor in the paper all the time with little regard for Lower Merion?
It felt great. We had a big rivalry against Radnor, and they had no respect for us coming in. They felt we were a walkover. They could just push us right over, and we came out and played a great game and showed them what can happen as well as everyone else.
Seiji, we're now 4-0 in league play, the only undefeated team remaining. What do we have to do now that we are the team being chased?
Well, the defense has to tighten up and not let the opposition score so much like we have been.
Against Radnor last Thursday, our defensive backs struggled a little in the first half. But in the second, you guys really clamped down, and you even scored a goal. How'd that make you feel?
Well, we did get used in the first half, but it got us all fired up. And then we got pumped up, and we had a shutout in the second half. And scoring a goal was great.
Well, we're on a roll now. We want to keep it that way, and we're counting on you four to keep pulling the strings in the defensive end. Good luck next week.
The foundation for any successful soccer team. This year's defense, with 4 shutouts to their credit already, has proven that on a given day, they can be very tough. Here now are the members of this new unit.
Senior goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber anchored the defense this year. His quick reactions and good size made him an intimidating figure in goal. He helped the defense record 6 shutouts this season and will only get better as his career continues. Senior co-captain Billy Ferber played many roles at the defensive end. He could mark well, carry the open space, and could also score. He recorded 5 goals and 4 assists and could always be counted on to give everything he had and more. Senior Mark Walensky was our #1 marking back for the 2nd year in a row. He played an aggressive style of play, but could also carry and distribute the ball very well. He had 3 assists on the year and always left it all on the field.
You're starting down the road, leaving me again. Threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if my love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. No, I'm still standing.
Junior Matt Halpern was our sweeper back. His improvement from beginning to end was phenomenal, and as his consistency and confidence continues to grow, he could be one of the best sweeper backs in the league next year. Junior Seiji McCarthy was one of our strong wingbacks. He too was a very versatile player and combined speed, fitness, ball skill, and tenacity to be one of our most consistent players. Sophomore Nate Laver rounded out this group. Although only a sophomore, he played more like a junior or a senior. He was in awe of no one and has everything it takes to be one of the best before he's finished. Tap, it was evident that newcomer Chichester was in way over their heads. The Aces started the scoring with John Hanks from Billy Ferber. Next, Will Kohler from John Hanks. Then John from Billy again. Ben Cooper from Will Kohler. Will Kohler from Dave Barca. After another Billy Ferber goal, it was Dave Barca from Will Kohler to close out the first period. In the second, there were 3 more, despite playing with only 7 field players. After Scott Ratenoff scored, it was Kevin Byrne from Nate Laver, and then Kevin again. In the third, Billy Ferber opened the scoring from Seiji McCarthy. Then it was John from Will. Then Heath from John. In the fourth, Merritt Lentz from Kevin Byrne. Rufus Fraser from Jeremy Gelber. Even the goalie got in the action. After Nate Laver, it was Scott Ratenoff ending the scoring blitz from Jeremy Gelber, and the Aces walked off with an 8-0 win. Well, the fun and games were over now, as LM had to travel to Ridley, a place where they have had traditionally lots of trouble. With their 4-0 Central League record on the line, Will Kohler almost put them ahead in the first 30 seconds, but the shot sails wide. The Aces moved the ball well, but just couldn't penetrate in the final third of the field. 11 minutes into the game, the pressure paid off. Josh Lowenthal carried the ball deep into the Ridley end, passed to Nate Laver, who in turn found Kohler open on the left side. Will finished off the play, and the Aces had a 1-0 advantage.
Come on, Matt. Take it up. Take it up. Great job, Matt. Keep it up, Matt. Great job. Get some depth on that attack.
LM continued to pressure as first Josh Lowenthal takes the baseline and shoots high. Then John Hanks just misses, and Ben Cooper can't convert a Kohler cross. As the game wore on, Coach Davidson seemed to be enjoying the action immensely. The only real dangerous Raider shot came in the third period when a header off a free kick was saved by goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber.
Come on, no fouls, man.
Coach Urban was so interested he couldn't take his eyes off the action. Merritt Lentz had still another LM opportunity to ice it away, but couldn't find the back of the net. When it was all over, the Aces had come away with an agonizing 1-0 win, but a win just the same. Next in line was Upper Dublin, a new team on the Aces schedule, and it would be the first time the two schools ever met in soccer. It was all Aces early on, as in the first period, Will Kohler takes a long pass from John Hanks but shoots wide. Then the two work a give and go, but the save is again made, and then Billy Ferber takes a nice pass from Razak Bauman but shoots wide. A little later in the first, it was Josh Lowenthal getting his chance, but the goalie again comes up big. In the second, it was more of the same. John Hanks gets two more chances, but the first header goes wide, and the second shot is right at the keeper. Midway through the second, Will Kohler got tripped up in the penalty box, and a penalty kick was awarded. Will called his own number and put it in the lower right-hand corner to give LM the only goal they'd need. With only 1 minute left in the half, and already having lost a player to a red card, the Upper Dublin coach got red carded and pulled his team off the field. It was a very unfortunate occurrence, but LM had notched their third shutout in a row and ran their overall record to 10-1-3. After two lackluster performances in a row, the Aces were looking to get their scoring touch back, and the team on the spot was Springfield. Just 3 minutes into the game, the Aces scored what would be the first of a school record 13 goals in a Central League game. Will Kohler took a long cross by Heath Alva and skip-headed the ball by the Cougar keeper. Later in the first, Kohler scored again, this time off an 18-yard free kick. After Ben Cooper made it 3-0 with a beautiful head goal off a corner kick, Mark Walensky took the baseline and laid off a nice ball to John Hanks for the score.
Yeah!
30 seconds later, Walensky found Kohler, and as the first period ended, it was 5-0 Aces. Kohler made it 6-zip midway through the second as he ripped a low liner into the corner. The Cougars caught the Aces defense napping as they got on the board with an 18-yard blast. LM got it right back, however, as John Hanks works to an open net and gets his second of the game. Hanks from Kohler several minutes later made it 8-1, still in the second period. Off the ensuing tap, the Aces intercepted the ball and went right down and scored, with John Hanks getting his 4th goal of the game. Kohler pounced on a rebound in the third period to get his 5th of the game. For the next 15 minutes, it was the Dave Barkas show, as he scored the next 3 goals. First, the setup came from Kohler. Next, he made a 30-yard run to goal, and 2 minutes later, he completed his natural hat trick. This 13-3 win brought the Aces to 6-0 in the league and set up a showdown with Strathaven Thursday night. I talked with 4 of the Aces midfielders the next day. I'm here with 4 of the Aces midfielders, senior Heath Alva, juniors Ben Cooper and Rufus Fraser and Kevin Byrne. Heath, once again you've been called upon to play both marking back and wing midfield and have done an outstanding job at both. Is it hard making the switch from game to game?
Not really, because in the practice before the game, I usually know what position I'm going to be playing.
Do you think our team's ready for the Strathaven game tomorrow night?
Yes, I definitely think our team's ready for the Strathaven game tomorrow night, because Strathaven lost a lot of their overpowering players, and I don't think we're afraid anymore.
Ben, do you feel that our wing midfielders have to score more for us to really reach our peak offensively?
I think they do, because a lot of the teams are expecting our strikers to do most of the scoring. So if our wing midfielders fill in and get some goals, it should help us out and get us some wins.
Strathaven tomorrow night. How will the fact that it's our first night game affect the play?
Well, I hope it doesn't affect us very much, but playing night's always a different atmosphere, because there's a lot of fans, and it is at night under the lights. So hopefully it won't affect us, but you never can tell what'll happen.
Roof, it seems as our midfield goes, so goes our offense. What do you, as a wing midfielder, have to do to keep our attack potent?
I try to get the ball up to the other midfielder on the opposite side and just get some goals if I can get there, and hopefully I'll get a couple more this season.
A big 13-3 score yesterday against Springfield. What will this do for us, if anything, going into tomorrow night's showdown with Strathaven?
I don't think it does a whole lot, but it does give us some more confidence for the game tomorrow night, bigger game tomorrow night.
Kev, you've also been used in many different positions, defensive center mid, wing mid, and even forward. Where do you feel most comfortable?
Well, I've always been a pretty versatile player, and wherever the team needs me, I feel pretty comfortable.
What will be the keys to tomorrow night's game with Strathaven?
I think the keys will be defensively, because obviously our offense is pretty potent, and if we can keep them from scoring 3 or more goals, I think we can take them.
On any game at any time. And by playing sound defense, accurate passing, and consistent offensive runs, we have done just that. Here are 6 reasons for this group's success.
Junior Rufus Fraser was one of our many excellent wing midfielders. He played solid physical defense and has the potential to be a consistent goal scorer. Look for big things from Rufus next year. Junior wing midfielder Ben Cooper saved his best for last this season. He scored 5 goals in the last 4 games and helped steady up the midfield at both ends. With his ability to score, he will be one of the keys to next year's success. Senior Heath Alva seemed to play well wherever you put him. He had a knack of getting the ball to the right place and probably had one of the best transition games on the team. added great game sense to this unit. He read the game extremely well and also possessed the skill and determination to make it all happen. Sophomore Merritt Lentz added still more depth here. He too could rip with either foot, wasn't afraid to take the ball to goal, and played smart, tight defense.
Who knows whether you were kidnapped, tied up, taken away, and held for ransom?
Senior Scott Ratenoff completed the package. In addition to his good work ethic and team-first attitude, he also managed to score a couple of goals as well. As the captains talked at midfield, you had to wonder if this young Aces squad could handle the pressure of their first night game. As the introductions were made, LM appeared to be a little edgy, but eager to go. When the opening tap finally came, Haven came out very strong, playing an up-tempo type of game that seemed to throw the Aces completely off. Just 5 minutes into the first period, the Panthers struck pay dirt. Nicky Chrysanthem's 25-yard free kick sailed over the outstretched hands of goalkeeper Jeremy Gelber, and the Aces were in an early hole. As Coach Davidson looked on, he didn't like the way the game was going. LM was completely off their touch and playing a kick-and-run game they were completely unfamiliar with. After weathering a very poor first half, the Aces turned it around a little in the third. 7 minutes in, Will Kohler hits a 20-yarder ticketed for the far corner, but Haven goalkeeper Ryan Luzak gets a hand on the ball. Toward the end of the third, Kohler again rips a volley that goes into the side of the net. The Panthers put on pressure in front of the Aces' goal early in the fourth, but couldn't manage to get a shot off. The best chance LM had all night came midway through the fourth. Kohler slotted a ball to Rufus Fraser, who shot the ball toward goal. It ricocheted off a defender and went to a surprised Ben Cooper, who headed the ball just over the open net. It just wasn't to be the Aces' night. When the game ended, Haven had pulled into a three-way tie at the top of the standings with Radnor and Lower Merion, with just 2 games left on the schedule. LM would now play their last non-league game against New Hope. The Aces jumped out on the offensive from the start, as early in the first, John Hanks hit the post off a free kick play.
15 Springfield.
Merritt Lentz also hit the post with a 20-yard rip late in the same period. New Hope had a great chance to take the lead despite all the LM pressure, but shot over the bar. This pressure finally paid off midway through the second period as John Hanks found an open Bill Ferber, and finally the Aces were on the scoreboard. A few minutes later, Kevin Byrne was taken down in the penalty box, and Bill Ferber converted to make it 2-0. Just a minute later, sophomore Razak Bauman stayed with the ball and chipped it into the upper far corner to make the halftime score 3-0 Aces. After an uneventful third period, New Hope got on the board midway in the fourth to spoil the Aces' shutout bid. Merritt Lentz got that goal back a few minutes later when he took a 20-yard free kick and found the open corner. This 4-1 win brought LM's record to 12-2-3 and would next meet Upper Darby the following Tuesday. The Aces, with just 2 league games left, could not afford to look past the Royals of Upper Darby, a team that took Radnor right to the wire earlier in the season. LM took it to Darby early as Will Kohler found Rufus Fraser all alone, but he couldn't connect. Midway through the first, Kohler took a quick free kick and found a streaking Ben Cooper, and it was 1-0 Aces. They didn't let down as 3 minutes into the second, LM scored again. Again it was Kohler to Cooper, this time with a beautiful header. A few minutes later, the Royals cut into the lead as Bill Booth pounced on a loose ball in front of the Aces' net and made it 2-1. LM got that goal back late in the first half as Cooper completed his natural hat trick when he scored on a ball served up by Rufus Fraser. Billy Ferber made it 4-1 with a 20-yard left-footed rip late in the third period. Josh Lowenthal put the icing on the cake as he took a long ball from Mark Walensky and gave the Aces a 5-1 victory. This would set up a showdown with Haverford High School with a piece of the Central League title on the line for the Aces. Everything was on the line. A share of the championship, a high playoff seed, and a lot of pride. LM got the first chance just a few minutes in as John Hanks carried the ball 40 yards for the shot.
Come on, John, hit it.
4 minutes later, the Fords got on the board with their only shot on goal of the game. Craig Davidson intercepted an errant throw-in deep in the Aces' end, passed the ball square, and Chris Cox finished it off.
Look at the foot up in the air over a guy's face.
Midway through the second, Rufus Fraser got off a good shot, but it sails high. Will Kohler then took a shot that beat the Haverford keeper, but an alert Jim Lannon was covering the open goal to deny the Aces.
Dang one, Will.
In the third, it was LM again with the scoring chances. Kohler centers a ball, but Ben Cooper can't get ahead on it in front of the goal, and Josh Lowenthal hits the rebound wide.
Good.
Minutes later, Kohler stole a poor back pass and went right on in on goalkeeper Jordan Ermilio, but the save is made. It looked like it was not to be LM's day as they fired 14 shots on the Ford goal, but couldn't get one in.
Go, Will! Come on, Will, go! Oh, one time, Lord.
Later in the game, the Aces were buzzing again, but Ermilio beats Kohler to a dangerous ball. The Aces' last chance came off a long throw-in by Seiji McCarthy, but it was no dice, and LM had dropped its last league contest and their hopes for a Central League title 1-0. However, they still were headed to the district playoffs, and their impressive record had earned them the 10th seed. But before we get to playoff action, let's take a break. That song can only mean one thing. It's time for our annual regular season special awards, and we have quite a few this year. The first is the Takedown of the Year award. Some teams are fortunate enough to have players who are good in other sports as well as soccer. Billy Ferber has one of the best takedowns in wrestling. But Bill, you can't use the takedown on the soccer field. 2 points for Bill Ferber. Our next award is the Mark Walensky Hello, How Are You? I'm Glad to Meet You award. Mark first introduces himself to a Malvern player. Hello, how are you? I'm okay. And just in case other teams weren't paying attention, he tells Ridley's Chris Capozzoli, hey Chris, I'm glad to meet you. Mark was so impressive that the next award he also won, the Ricochet Tackle Award. It looks like trick photography, but watch closely as he makes a tackle on one player and the sheer force of the hit knocks another player down just a few yards away. Let's watch. Whoa, let's watch that again. That's amazing. The next award is the American Dental Association Open Wide Award, and there are 2 nominees. The first nominee is John Hanks, and he'll be assisted by Will Kohler. Okay, John. Open wide goal. Oh, ugly. Our next nominee is Rufus Fraser, again assisted by Will Kohler. Open wide, Roof. Oh, who do you think is the winner? Next we have the Yellow Card Foot Spike Award, and that goes to Will Kohler. Watch his style, his grace, a thing of beauty. Down it goes, bang, and up comes the card. In a physical soccer game, you really have to watch your back. That's why this year's Watch Your Back Award goes to Jeremy Gelber. It's late in the game. Jeremy makes the catch. Quick. Okay, John, go upfield. I'll throw you the ball. But watch your back. Bang. The next award is simply put, Don't Mess with Rufus. And the winner, Rufus Fraser. Boom. Next is the Flying Ferber Award, presented again to Bill Ferber for a job well done. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Bill Ferber. One thing you try to do in a close game is to prevent the other team from getting off a quick free kick. Well, Josh Lowenthal developed his own method, and that's why he wins the How to Stop a Free Kick Award. Let's watch Josh in action. I'm going to take this kick. Oh, no, I'm not. Finally, we have the Fair Catch Award, this year going to Rufus Fraser. The Upper Darby player drops back 15 yards. He gets off a good punt. Bang, it's in the air. Somebody's going to make the call. It's Rufus, and he makes the catch. Well done. With the addition of wildcard entries into the district playoffs, only the top 7 or 8 seeds get a relatively easy first-round game. The Aces drew Chesmont wildcard Coachville, who on a given day could be a very dangerous team. LM wasted no time as 3 minutes into the game, Will Kohler jumped on a poor back pass and beat the Raiders' keeper for a 1-0 lead. They continued to pressure as Josh Lowenthal's header off a free kick just goes wide a few minutes later. Coatesville was not without their own chances as they got a good opportunity off a well-placed through ball, but the shot goes wide right. Ben Cooper's header also went wide toward the end of the first period as LM just couldn't get that killer goal. Midway through the second period, Jeremy Gelber came up big to keep the Aces ahead. John Hanks got a shot off a well-run free kick play, but it hits the outside of the net. Still pressuring, Kohler took a through ball from Bill Ferber, but the Raider keeper made the save. The Aces thought they got the put-away goal in the fourth period, but it was called back for pushing. As fate would have it, a few minutes later, Coatesville pushed home a rebound off a corner kick, and it was 1-1 with just 8 minutes left in regulation. As the time ticked under 45 seconds, it looked like OT, but the Raiders were on the receiving end of a lucky bounce off an Aces defender's knee, and for the first time, LM trailed. They didn't give up, and with just 15 seconds left, a long Sagey McCarthy throw-in found the head of John Hanks, who headed the ball over the goalie's head and toward the open net. But an alert Coatesville midfielder was there to clear it away, and with it, the hopes of the entire Aces team. It was a very, very disappointing way to end the season, and it would take some time to get over completely. But there were some encouraging facts that every player could fall back on for support. The 1992 Aces had finished with a 13-4-3 overall record, and of those 19 games, 12 of them were against teams in the district playoffs or ranked in the top 20 teams in southeastern Pennsylvania. They had finished one game out of first place in the Central League when they had been picked to finish 4th or 5th. They had beaten Radnor, the number 1 seed out of the Central League, and with 11 returning letter winners back, including 7 starters, things looked very bright for the future.
The things I said, that's like a knife, it